Hello and welcome to 2026. I hope you had a good New Year's Eve and a good first day in 2026. And this time, the end of the year or the beginning of the new year, this is the time where we wish for something. We think, what do we want? What do we long for the next year? And so the two little stories I'm going to tell you are about wishing. And there are numerous fairy tales about wishing when people have either one or three wishes free. And many times these stories don't end up happily because people are not wise with their wishing. So these two stories, the first one is from China and the second from India. These two stories tell us about people who do wise wishing. So the first one is called The Bird of Luck. Once upon a time, there was an old man who had a huge family, many children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and they were they were wealthy, they lived happily together, they were all healthy, their animals were healthy, and there was peace in the family. So one day, when the old man walked around outside, a bird came and sat down on his arm. And the bird said, I am the bird of luck. I have been in your family for many, many years, and you see, you're happy, you're healthy, you're wealthy. This was because I was with you. But now I decided somebody else should live in happiness and luck, so I will leave you. But you have one wish free because I go away. Oh, said the old man, "Mm, I'm sorry, but I cannot tell you. Please give me 3 days to talk to my family, and we want to find out what we should wish for." Sure, said the bird, and flew away. Now the old man gathered his family, and it was a big family, and he told them what had happened and said, So, what do you think we should wish for? And there was a great, everybody was talking and thinking and wishing and making suggestions. And then the eldest son said, Well, father, I think we should wish for more animals, more cows, more horses, more ducks and chicken and sheep and goats. No, 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 said the second son. No, let's wish for more land. That's important. Said the eldest daughter. This is nonsense because more animals, more land just create more work. Let us wish for gold and money and precious stones. So then we are rich without having more work. And so everybody was talking, and each member of this big family had another wish. And so the old man said, Stop it. We go on talking tomorrow. But on the next day, it was the same. Everyone wished for something different, and there was nothing they could agree that they would all want to have. And on the third day, the old man looked around and said, Where is my youngest daughter-in-law? I haven't seen her. And someone said, Well, she is with her baby. She hasn't been here. And the old man said, Let her come. I want to hear her opinion. And when the young woman was brought with her baby on her arm, the old man told her what it was about. And she said, That's easy. We should ask for the friendship of the bird of luck. And there was a yes. Yes, everybody agreed. Everybody said, This is the best and only wish we should ask for. And when the old man went outside and the bird of luck came and asked, "Now, what did your family decide?" He said, "We want you to be our friend forever." And the bird of luck said, "Yes, I will be your friend." And because of that wise wish, you know what? I stay with you. And so this family lived on in peace and wealth and health and harmony, and everyone was happy. And we see the really important wish is not nothing we can buy for money, because we have it today and tomorrow it will be gone. Nobody knows. You cannot just hold it tight. But the friendship of the burden of luck, that that assures you that you have always a lucky hand on whatever you start to do. The next story from India is a little bit similar, and it's called The Wise Art, or the Art of Wise Wishing, sorry, The Art of Wise Wishing. Once upon a time, there was an old woman, and she was not healthy anymore. Her back hurt, and her eyes were bad, and it was hard for her to walk. But every single day, she walked a long way to the temple of Ganesh to pray there. And even though it was really hard for her to make this long way, she didn't leave a single day. She would pray to Ganesh every day. And one day, on that way, there was a huge construction area. People were building and many people running around, and everyone was busy and working. And the old woman stopped and said, "What's going on here? What are you doing?" And one of the workers said, "Well, we create the new palace for the king." "Oh," said the old woman, "you would really do a very good deal if you built a tiny little temple for Ganesh just beside." And the worker shook his head and said, "Sorry, we cannot do that, because imagine the king pays us to build his palace. And what do you think? He would become angry when he saw that we are building something different. Sorry, we cannot do that." And the old woman shrugged her shoulders and went on the long way to Ganesh's temple. A couple of days later, just after this palace had been opened with great festivities and parties and rituals and all kinds of things that belong to an opening for a palace, only a couple of days later, the palace fell together, tumbled down like a cart house. And the king stood there next morning and said, "How is that possible? What happened?" There was no storm, no thunder, no earthquake, nothing that could have brought this drama, this chaos. How could that be? And he looked around to the workers and said, "Do you have an idea how that could happen?" And then one of the workers stepped forward and said, "A couple of days ago, there was an old woman, and she asked us to create a little temple for Ganesh just beside your palace. And we refused to do that because we thought you pay us to build your palace, so we didn't do that. maybe this old woman has put a curse upon that palace. And the king gave order to bring that old woman to him. And she was found and brought him. And then he said, "Did you put a curse upon my palace?" "Well," said the old woman, "I just asked your workers to build a little temple for Ganesh, and they refused. Maybe Ganesh put that, made your palace fall down? I don't know." Now the king became very thoughtful, and he gave order to create a little temple for Ganesh. And now the old woman did not have to make this long way. She had a much shorter way and enjoyed her prayers even more. And a couple of nights later, Ganesh appeared in her dreams and said, "You are so faithful. Thank you for that. And thank you for that new temple. So you have a wish. Whatever you wish, I will fulfill it for you." And the old woman said, "Oh, give me some time. I need time, and I have to talk to my family. Please give me time." "Sure," said Ganesh, "no problem. Talk to your family." And the next morning, she told her son that Ganesh had given her a wish. And the son said, "Yes, that's clear. Let's ask for money and wealth and richdom." And his wife said, No, that's nonsense. Why, what use is it to be rich if there is nobody to pass it over? Let's wish for a child." And the old woman thought about these two opinions and said, "Yes, I would like to be wealthy, and I would love to have a little grandchild in my arms. But these two only thought about themselves. It is my wish, and nobody thought about what I might need or long for." And when she walked to the temple, she was quite sad, and well, you could see that in her face, so that a little boy who came along said, "Hey, old woman, why do you look so sadly?" And she said, "Oh, you're too young. You cannot help me." But for whatever reason, she told him the whole story. And the boy said, "Oh, I know what I would wish for." Huh? And he whispered it into her ears. And then the old woman, well, she smiled and she walked straight away to the new temple of Ganesh and said, "I wish to see with my own eyes my grandchild drinking from a golden cup." And what shall I tell you? Her eyes became healthy again. She could see very clearly. And after less than a year, she held a little grandchild in her arms. And after another year, this little grandchild was drinking from a golden cup. Yeah, these were 3 wishes put into one. So what both of the stories show, it's not wise to get a wish and immediately wish for something that comes to our minds. It's always wise to think about it. And these 2 old people say, "We want to talk to our families." So they feel the responsibility not just to wish for something for themselves, but to wish for something that is for the wealth of their families too. So they feel responsible for the next generations. And it's interesting that in both cases, it's a young person who knows the right wish. Because the other ones, they only think in money and wealth and land and animals and worldly things, material things, except the daughter-in-law who wishes for a child. Yeah, I love these two little stories because there are so many stories where people do not wish wisely, and we see it is possible. So thank you for listening so far. I wish you your wishes to fulfill. And if you liked it, give me a thumb and hope to see you next time. Bye.